Soft ambient music fades in, a quiet engine rev echoes. Voiceover begins slowly and clearly. In Formula One, some cars win races. They take the checkered flag and disappear into the history books. But only a few reshape history. The Ferrari 312T, introduced in 1975, wasn't just a race car. It was a turning point. Designed by the legendary Mauro Ferrari, the T stood for transversal, a transverse gearbox mounted across the rear axle. This design changed everything. The heart of the 312T was a 3.0-liter flat 12 engine that roared with 500 horsepower. The 312T was as reliable as the sunrise, race after race, lap after lap. It proved itself to be a tank. It gobbled up miles with ease, never missing a beat. The design wasn't flashy, but more than anything, it marked the return of Ferrari, not just to the front of the grid, but back to the heart of racing. Fade to black. Over the next few seasons, the 312T evolved into the T2, the T3 and the T4. Each version was slightly different. Each one was slightly better, but 1975 was the beginning of that legacy. One car, one story, and this one saved Ferrari. There were no fancy aerodynamics, no wild paint jobs, just pure, unadulterated function. The 312T was an evolution, not a revolution, and it was brilliant. It was a masterpiece of mechanical engineering, a symphony of pistons and valves and cams, but the real magic was in the transverse gearbox. He returned to Ferrari in 1974 after his near-fatal crash at the 1970 German Grand Prix. Lauda was precise, fearless, and methodical. He pushed the 312T to its limits, extracting every last drop of performance. He wasn't the fastest driver on the grid, but he was the most consistent. He took pole position in 6 races and won 5 of them. He brought Ferrari its first Drivers' Championship since 1964 and its first Constructors' Championship since 1966 by moving the gearbox across the rear axle. Ferrari lowered the car's center of gravity, giving it better weight distribution and handling. It was a risky move, a bold experiment, but it paid off. The 312T handled corners like a dream, carving through them with ease. It gave Ferrari better weight distribution, sharper handling, and a competitive edge. The 312T was a leap forward, a giant stride towards the modern layout that every F1 car follows today. But the story of the 312T is not just about innovation. It's about survival. When Ferrari entered the 1973 season with a new turbocharged flat 12 engine, they were hopeful. But the car, the 312B3, had a fatal flaw. It lacked the downforce needed to keep the tires glued to the track at high speeds. By the time the team realized the issue and redesigned the car, the championship was gone. Then came 1974. Ferrari struggled. They scored only 2 podiums all season. Niki Lauda, their star driver, left for McLaren. It was the worst year for Ferrari since they entered Formula One. Morale was low and the future looked bleak. Then along came a savior. Enter Mauro Ferrari, thrust into the role of technical director after the departure of Franco Scaglietti. Ferrari was under immense pressure. He needed a new car, a car that could dominate, a car that could save Ferrari. He didn't have much time. The new season was just around the corner. So Ferrari assembled his team and set to work. They toiled day and night, driven by a shared sense of urgency and pride. For Ferrari, they knew they had to deliver. The result was nothing short of spectacular. The Ferrari 312T was born. But power and handling are pointless without reliability. At the wheel was a young Austrian named Niki Lauda. The 312T was the complete package. It had speed and handling and reliability. It was a car that could win races and championships. Music fades out.